All right, guys, so today we're doing a little bit different setup. We are actually setting up a brand new reel. Daiwa Tatula SVTW. Shout out to John Shin. He recommended the reel, as in I usually fish pure Shimano. That's why my rod's a Shimano. Shout out to my wife for finally getting me a rod for Christmas. I'm not real particular about my rods. 7-foot medium heavy is a real good all-around rod for many different baits. This particular setup is going to be dedicated to moving baits such as spinner baits, underspins, and chatter baits. That's why I got the 6:3 gear ratio. So the biggest thing when you go to pick a reel, I don't care what brand you get, make sure you get the right speed for what you're going to be throwing. So any kind of bottom baits like a Texas rig or a jig, you're going to want a higher gear ratio just to pull up that slack when you do get a fish. With the moving baits, you just want a little bit slower gear ratio so you can stay down. With those moving baits, they won't try to come up to the top. And yeah, so I use moving baits a lot more than anything, so I figure if I'm going to spend a lot of money on a rod on a reel, I might as well get it in a gear ratio suited for my style, which is slow rolling big spinners and chatter baits looking for donks. So super stoked on the reel. Like I said, I usually fish Shimano, and I usually fish Facebook Marketplace setups, you know, stuff I find on deals. But since my wife finally got me a rod, I was like, you know what, let me put something super fancy on there. So we got this reel on here. It should do good. I already got the string running through it. Shout out to my nephew for the 15-pound Seagar he left in my truck. This is what we normally run anyway, but he left me a spool in there, so I'm gonna use it. So the biggest thing for setting up your first baitcaster, besides selecting the right gear and rod for your application, you just want to get it set up, you know, at home when you're not going to go fishing, so you can try it out without having to worry about backlashing and stuff. So first things first, I don't run backing. I go straight to the spool on everything, even on braid. I know a lot of people talk about slip with their braid. We do a California cinch knot, and it works really well to keep that line on your spool. So you just cinch it down right to the center of the spool. We got our line running through the first eyelet. You don't want to be holding it right here when you go to reel it in, when you first fill it up. So that's why we keep it through the first eye. So once we got it tied on, it's cinched up, that good old California cinch my cousin showed me years ago. Just tighten that down, and simple enough, get some tension on your line from your spool and just fill it up. All right, so we got her all filled up. Now what we're gonna do is clip it, push the button on the reel, tighten up that spool a little bit. You don't want it running everywhere. We're just gonna run it through our eyelets here, and then continue to show you the process of setting up your first baitcaster, because I know a lot of people ask this, and a lot of people are scared to run a baitcaster for the backlash. They're scared to get a backlash. It happens to the best of us. Even if we've been doing it 15 plus years, we still get a backlash every now and then, and it's not fun. But don't let that scare you away from getting a baitcaster. It's not that hard. So we're gonna get the line through these eyes. It's a little dark, so bear with me. Boom, got it through. Like I said, this reel and rod combo is gonna be for moving baits, but for tonight, just so I can show you guys how to set up your first baitcaster, we're just gonna tie on a simple jig. It is a good way to learn how to throw these things, because it's got, you know, some good dead weight for when you go to cast it for the first time. So again, we're just gonna do a California cinch. That'll keep our jig on there nice and tight. Cinch her down. Obviously, if you're using 100% fluorocarbon, you want to give it a good lick so it slides down and cinches all the way. So once you got your stuff tied on, the first thing you want to do is go to your brake side. So this is our brake dial, and we're just going to crank it up. I put it on 10. It goes to 20, which is crazy, but whatever. The next thing you want to do is get your bait to barely fall with a little movement there. All right, so I'm going to push the button and I'm going to let go. And you see my bait's falling really fast. So if your bait's falling too fast, you're going to tighten up your spool tension. So we're going to tighten that up, reel it back to the top. Okay, see, I click the button, and with a little bit of movement, the bait starts to fall. That's where you want your bait. So once you get there, you're ready for a cast. That was actually a really good cast, even though the brakes are on 10. So that's pretty much it to setting up your first bait caster. Like I said, adjust your brakes about halfway when you get to starting out, and if you get that spool tension just right, the brakes will handle the backlash if it does begin to backlash. But you know, we're pretty good at this, so we're going to turn it down to 0, leaving the spool tension the same, and we're going to give it a cast, see how this dial will actually works for us. Oof, that went far. All right, so pretty simple. Don't back off those brakes as fast as I just did. Don't go from 10 to 0. You're just asking for a backlash. Take your time, especially on your first baitcaster, and work those brakes down maybe 2 clicks at a time until you figure it out, because you don't want to be wasting 15-pound cigar or anything like that, because this line does get expensive. But just a quick video to shout out the people that helped put this combo together, and to help you guys get into a baitcaster and how to properly set it up. I'm sure there's many different ways to skin this cat, but this is the way we do it, and it works out really well for us. So we're gonna get something else tied on this boy right here, and we're gonna put it in the truck for tomorrow and get on some bigs. So thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.